must never forget. A reminder of the resilience and necessary courage of migrants. A reminder, too, of the contributions that they have made and continue to make to the countries they call home. On this day, let us pledge to work together, cooperating so that we may confront the contemporary challenges facing our world, espousing some of the most essential values, such as kindness, compassion, embodied as they are in the spirit of St. Patrick. As we commemorate St. Patrick's legacy guide and patron, whose life embodied the values of a shared, generous sense of legacy and humanity, let us do so by mustering the courage to recover the best instincts in all of us. I wish you all a most enjoyable and peaceful, happy St. Patrick's Day. As we at the Alamo stand here to honor St. Patrick, we must also honor the roughly 1/4 of the brave Irish-born and Irish-descendant men who died here at the Alamo. But the Harp Shamrock also has some other people we need to honor. Today I have the honor of recognizing our CUSEC award winners. These are award winners who have gone above and beyond the call, volunteering for the organization. And our 2023 CUSEC award winners are Victoria McGrady and Donna Gobert. Thank you so much, ladies. I also had the honor of introducing our 2023 Irishman of the Year, Linda Gross.
So, welcome guests. We are here today to honor the 12 Irish descendants that died while fighting and defending the Alamo. Being a female Irishman of the Year and March being Women's History Month, we would be remiss not to also remember the Irish women that no doubt supported the brave 12 men. Here is a fact you may not have known. During the period of 1820 to 1860, 53% of all Irish immigrants were single women. In my own family, in 1843, my great-great-grandmother, Mary McKenna, from County Meath, came to America. She was 13 and her sister was 16. They traveled alone by ship to Quebec, Canada, as they were reuniting with their father, whom was already in America. They were remanded to the custody of the ship's captain for the journey. Upon arriving, my great-great-grandmother and her sister would have traveled from Canada via the St. Lawrence River and crossed over into America. My Irish ancestors settled in an Irish community located in upstate New York and established a family farm on the banks of the Grass River. This farm still exists in our family and is currently operated by a family member. Why did so many Irish women brave the long, grueling trip to the United States? Simply said, they saw a better life for themselves and their families. The lack of work and opportunity for women in Ireland created this desire to find a better life. In fact, many Irish women went on to become education advocates, civil rights activists, and cultural ambassadors, thus leaving an Irish imprint on the United States. There is no doubt that the Irish immigrants had an impact on San Antonio, as demonstrated by the founding of Avoca and the Irish Flats area. The Harp Shamrock Society of Texas is an ongoing example of the Irish culture and heritage still alive here in South Texas. please make sure to visit La Vita and the Artisan Theater today or tomorrow to experience the Passport to Ireland with its many interactive displays, and take some time to sit and enjoy the Irish music that will be on the stage. So as we honor these 12 brave men today, let us also honor the strong Irish women who supported them as their mothers, wives, sisters, and children. So I will conclude this with an Irish saying often given as a toast. May the Irish hills caress you, may her lakes and rivers bless you, may the luck of the Irish enfold you, may the blessings of St. Patrick behold you. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. At this time, I'd like to introduce Colby Lantham. He's a senior researcher and historian here at the Alamo. Colby.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out on this brisk day. My apologies to all the people from the northern states who thought they could come to Texas today and wear flip-flops. The weather in Texas doesn't always cooperate, as you can tell. My remarks are going to be focused mainly on early Texas. So I'm going to talk about the sacrifice of the men here at the Battle of the Alamo, but also why the Irish find themselves in Texas and why they play such a pivotal role in our state's history. The values and ideas of freedom are well known among the Irish. The Irish are also familiar with the process in which freedom is obtained. In fact, for hundreds of years, the Irish fought to gain their independence. Irish Republican and leader of the Irish Republican Brotherhood, Tom Clark, said this shortly before his execution on May 3rd, 1916. My comrades and I believe we have struck the first successful blow for freedom. And so sure as we go out this morning, so sure will freedom come as a direct result of our action. In this belief, we die happy. Tom Clark represents the bold and independent spirit that his forefathers showed during the 11 Years' War, the United Irish Rebellion of 1798, and many other conflicts in the Irish struggle for independence. Ultimately, it was oppression that brought the Irish to Texas. To tell the story of Texas and the Texian struggle for independence and what took place here on this sacred ground on March 6, 1836, one must include the Irish in our story. The Irish come to Spanish Texas as early as 1767. Men like Hugo O'Connor, a direct descendant of Turlough McConnor, the High King of Ireland, immigrated to Texas because of the strict political and religious laws that were pressed onto the Irish people. O'Connor would go on to serve as the governor of Texas, and later the general of the Yucatan Army under the Spanish rule. Explorer and trader Philip Nolan was born in Belfast in 1771. In 1795, Nolan brought wild herds of Texas Mustangs into the United States. Nolan is also credited with mapping the early Texas frontier and paving the way for immigrants. James Powers, John McMullen, and James Early impresarios formed colonies in Texas. These men and their families and many other Irish were James Houston, James Powers, John McMullen. Father Madom served the Catholic Church under the last Spanish viceroy. When the Spanish were forced out of Mexico, Father Muldoon stayed behind to be the priest of Stephen F. Austin's colony. When Stephen F. Austin was imprisoned by Mexican authorities for suspicion of inciting insurrection, it was Father Muldoon who went to the President Santa Anna and obtained Austin's release. In 1835, when the call for revolution was made, the Irish answered that call. The plow and shovel were replaced with the rifle and the musket. The Irish sweat spilled in the fields of Texas was replaced with blood at this very spot and many others. There were 9 Irishmen inside the Alamo on the morning of March 6th. Among them were Andrew Duval, who was born in Ireland in 1804 and immigrated to Texas from Missouri, settling in nearby Gonzales. Duval took part in the siege and Battle of Behar and afterwards remained in town as a member of the Bexar County Guards. Sometime after February 2nd, 1836, he returned to his home in Gonzales and was later mustered into the Gonzales Ranging Company of Mounted Volunteers on February 23rd of 1836. DeVault returned to the Alamo, probably as a member of the relief force from Gonzales, on March 1st and gave his life on March 6th. Robert Evans, the ordnance chief of the Alamo garrison, was born in Ireland in 1800 and traveled to Texas from New York by way of New Orleans. After the siege of Behar in December of 1835, he served as the master of ordnance for the garrison. At the Battle of the Alamo, survivor Susanna Dickinson stated that during the final moments of the battle on the morning of March 6th, Evans attempted to blow up the Texans' remaining supply of gunpowder with a torch in this very building. He was shot down before he could do so. Susanna later described him as being black-haired, blue-eyed, nearly 6 feet tall, and always merry. These men, along with Burt Trammell, William B. Ward, Jackson J. Rusk, James McGee, William Daniel Jackson, Joseph M. Hawkins, and Samuel Burns, gave their lives here on this hallowed ground. 4 Irishmen signed the Texas Declaration of Independence, and 100 Irish were present at the Battle of San Jacinto when Texas gained its independence. When the smoke cleared and the last shots of the Revolution were fired, who was left to carry on the story of Texas? It was the women, many of whom were Irish. The men who were killed on the field of battle never returned home, so it was up to the women to plow the fields, tend the crops, protect the homesteads, and eventually raise generations of proud Texans that continue to pass down the origin story of our state. No other ethnic group has such a lasting impact on the history of Texas. Their sacrifice helped pave a path for Texas independence and the birth of a nation. We must remember these men when we say, remember the Alamo. Thank you.
Thank you, Colby. At this time, we will call the names of those who have fallen. Taps will be performed at the same time as the names are announced. Taps will be played by Dale Taylor and Ray Gutierrez, veterans and members of the Fort Sam Houston Memorial Services Detachment. At this time, I'd like to call the daughter of one of our founders, Eileen Burke, to proceed with the roll call.
Heroes at the Alamo Shrine from Ireland: Samuel E. Burns, Andrew DeVault, Robert Evans, Joseph M. Hawkins, William Daniel Jackson, Thomas Jackson, James McGee, Robert McKinney, James Nolan, Jackson J. Rusk, Burke Trammell, William B. Ward. From Texas: James Brown, James Hannon, Samuel B. Blair, Edward McCafferty, Miles Andros, Jerry C. Day, John Joseph Valentine, and Robert Moore. From Kentucky, Tennessee, and other states: David Crockett, Peter James Bailey, Daniel William Cloud, William H. Fauntleroy, George Butler, Charles Clark, Green B. Jameson, James Garrett, Joseph Kerr, Isaac Ryan, James Kenny, William Lynn, William T. Malone, William P. King, Charles S. Smith, Jonathan L. Linwood, and many other known patriots who valued freedom more than life itself at this shrine.
blessings of heaven, the blessings of earth, the blessings of sea, and the blessings of sky be upon those we love this day and on every human family. The gifts of heaven, the gifts of earth, the gift of sea and sky. Go in peace.
At this time, this concludes our ceremony, but it is St. Patrick's Day weekend in San Antonio, which means that there will be the Alamo Irish Festival taking place at La Villita, and entertainment on the Arneson River Theater beginning at 3 p.m. today and going on until 8 p.m. this evening. Tomorrow, we dye the river green and proclaim its name, the River Shannon. And the river dyeing ceremony begins at 5 o'clock, or the parade begins at 5 o'clock. And there's also, the river parade actually is going to start at 2 at the Pearl, and then we'll start here downtown at 5. Go down to the Arneson River Theater about 4:30 to get a great seat. We'll be there about 5:45 with the St. Patrick's Day parade. This is, I think, our 48th version of the parade, so 45th version of the parade, and we'll be glad to see you down there. On behalf of the Harp Shamrock Society of San Antonio, our president, and our Irishman of the Year, I thank you for attending our ceremony, and as they say in Ireland, Ian go bra. I'd like to invite our piper, Jonathan Gilbert, to come and play Minstrel Boy.
You have to speak with Harp Shamrock. I'll go ask them, see if they have. Okay.
WRA did a thing down in the marina this morning, and what is it you're wanting to cover now? Okay, dying. We're actually going to be dying at 1 o'clock right now. And then,
see the dog up there.
Yeah, I'm just going to get text back. I'm going to run over there, and then tomorrow, y'all can cover it. You can come set up in the Arneson if you want. Set up. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you don't need a release or anything. At 1 over at Mad Dog's, just right in, that is the where we're eating. Where we eating. Take a level of it right there. Yeah, they're going to start. It'll be very crowded, but you can sneak in.
Take a picture of the dog. I need to get our dogs. Okay, let's go, Jimmy. Show us where we can go.